My name is Tendayi, Hlupo Mamvura. I am the CEO of Zimbabwe Global Investments, which is the holding company responsible for the development of the Zim Cyber City project. I am privileged this evening to be speaking to Honorable Daniel Garwe, who is the Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities. I had a chance to catch up with him a few months ago as we were talking about the technologies that are being used in Zim Cyber City and the provisions that government is making to ensure that even though we are governed by a 1977 Act in terms of the rules and regulations of building, that the government has made a provision for us to be able to implement new technologies. And initially, I thought what we were asking for when I had a conversation with him was a statutory instrument to allow us to implement these technologies. And I found out that we were already behind and the government was already ahead of us, because the government had already made a provision for this to happen all around the country. So I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I'm going to give him an opportunity to put it in his own words. Minister, please take it away and explain how it is that we're able to use these technologies without coming to beg for permission.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mamvura, and good evening, Zimbabwe. We, as government, we met in 2021, February 2021, and the cabinet approved and adopted the use of new technologies in housing delivery. Having realized that Vision 2030 is directing us to develop this country to an upper middle income economy, given that our infrastructure must be of that class. Brick and mortar technology, which is very traditional and we are used to, one, is not friendly anymore to the environment. Two, it's very slow. So with that kind of technology, we are not going to be able to meet the dictates of Vision 2030. So government adopted the application of artificial intelligence in construction, which is basically the use of new technologies in housing delivery, new technologies in infrastructure delivery. And this is what we are. We have come up with a human settlements policy, which is directing government in the whole country on how we are going to be building going forward. We are aware of the old laws that were promulgated as far back as the 70s and the bylaws that of the 1944s that needs to be revised. Whilst we are revising and amending the laws, we have a policy, human settlements policy, which is now directing us on using new technologies as we build better going forward.
That is very exciting for us, because I think one of the biggest concerns for would-be potential investors in Zim Cyber City is whether the plans that we are using would be approved or are approved or within the law. And it is good to know that the government is way ahead of us.
We are way ahead of everybody in the country. We have directed all the local authorities to revise the bylaws, and we are one of the ministries responsible for the revision of the bylaws. The Minister of Local Government and ourselves are Siamese twins in the development agenda. We are revising the bylaws, and over and above that, like I said, we have got a human settlements policy, which varies this within the next year. We'll prepare some bills, human settlements bill, and come up with an act, human settlements act, which then covers the use of new technologies and many other changes that are coming on. Artificial intelligence in construction, what does it mean to an ordinary person? Does it mean killing off all jobs? Does it mean creating alternative jobs? All that is covered under the human settlements policy. So we are very safe. Go ahead and deliver on your mandate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let me tell you, I can't tell you how excited we are to know that we've got the green light from the government to go ahead with this project and to utilize the new technologies. I am a little bit curious, however, and what I'm curious about is where are we in terms of implementation? I know that since we spoke, the government has given us the green light to use technologies. But I'm just curious to know how many other entities in the country are applying new technologies in the developments that are going on around the country.
We, from government perspective, we are inviting investors from all over the world to come and invest in Zimbabwe and bring the various technologies. But of course, the technologies have to go through some vetting process, where some of the technology is good for Europe, but what is good for Europe might not be good for Africa in terms of the climate changes that we have. But all I can tell you that in terms of planning, government has done its part. Planning is all done. It's now implementation. It's now investors coming in. I think before the end of this year or into early next year, you will see a number of projects throughout the country using new technologies.
Well, I can attest to the fact that both the Ministry of Local Government and National Housing have been extremely supportive through the spatial planning team that we are working with here in ensuring that the vetting processes are done, to check that the technologies that we are using and bringing through are aligned to the needs of Zimbabwe. And you will be happy to know that as we are building Zim Cyber City, we are taking cognizance of the fact that one of the critical issues considered in Zimbabwe is the issue of combustibility, and that the material that we are using for our which are coming from the Hlupo factory from Malk International is a fire-rated product. And over and above that, we are also building a fire station in this community. So that fire station will be useful within and beyond the community.
That's really good news to hear. But I think what Zimbabweans need to understand with new technology are the benefits accrued from new technology. The first benefit is the cost benefit. You can deliver the same size of a structure in half the cost and half the time. So in terms of time and cost budgets, there is a huge saving. The third benefit is you can change the landscape of a station within the shortest period of time. Look at this building here, done inside 6 weeks. So we are saying if it was a housing program, it would have been looking at a new suburb inside 6 weeks. So this is what we now need to do. Climate change, that's another thing. Climate change, as dangerous and devastating as it is, it has created new thinking in us. New thinking, new world. What is it that we need to do given climate change? And also given the fact that the construction industry, particularly the housing industry, contributes up to 45% of carbon emissions because of the cement component. So we now need to come up with innovations that ensure that we minimize in the use of such products that emits a lot of carbon, and also enjoy the carbon credit that come up with it. This building alone is a testament to the fact that new technologies adopt is very much alive to the existence of climate change and its dangerous effects. So we're quite happy about new technologies.
Thank you very much for highlighting that, because I think a lot of people who insist on cement, brick and mortar and cement, are really aware of the contribution to the carbon emissions that houses contribute to the climate change. Well, I think we have said quite a bit this evening, and I'm hoping that this has been an opportunity for those that are following the story on Zim Cyber City to learn an additional piece of information around the laws that govern how we do our town planning, not only the town planning, but what buildings we are putting up, and the fact that the government is sensitive to the needs of the people and is way ahead. In fact, we're probably less aware of what the government is doing, and while the government is way ahead, we're left behind trying to catch up with the provisions that the government is making in order to keep us updated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.